Hey guys, welcome back to my video. Today I'm gonna share with you the part 3 of my third-person combat controller tutorial. And this will be the result of this tutorial. Your character can move by walking, sprinting, and running. So let's start. Last time we made the camera control, so this time we will move our character based on the camera viewing angle. So the first thing we need to do is go to our character scene, click on the character node, add child node, and select animation tree. In the tree root, we select animation node blend tree. In anim player, we select the animation player in our model. There may be a bug. To select the animation player, we need to make our model node as editable children. Then we can select the animation player in our animation tree. Then we check on the active, and we choose the process mode to physics. Then in root motion section, click assign and select the root bone of your skeleton. Okay, we can edit our animation tree now. The first thing we need to do is to add a transition node. Change the input to 2 and rename the two states to idle and moving. We also rename the transition node to main state. We connect the main state output to output node and add a animation node. Choose idle cycle and connect it to our idle input in main state node. Then we create another transition node, name it moving state, and set to 3 inputs. Name the 3 inputs to walk, sprint, and run. Connect the output of moving state to the moving input of main state. And add 3 animation nodes. Then choose walk cycle, sprint cycle, and run cycle. And connect them to moving state node. Then we can add a root motion view node to help to visualize the root motion. And then we can preview our animation now. Feel free to change states to see the animation of your character. The next step is to set up key mapping in your project. Click Project and then click Project Settings. Go to Input Map and then in Action, type Move Up. Click Add. Type Move Down. Click Add. Type Move Left. Click Add. And finally, type Move Right and click Add. Scroll to the bottom and in each actions, click the Add button and select Key. In here, you can choose your favorite key for the moving keys. I just choose the arrow keys for moving. You may choose the classic WASD instead. Then click Close. The final step is to add a script to our character. Select the character node and then click Attach a new script button. Click Create button and we go to the script editor. Remove all of the comments and add a new function for physics process. The first thing we need to do is to get the input direction from player. So let's do this. This will give us a moving direction vector. X determines the left-right movement, while C will determine forward-backward movement. Then we can add a move and slide function to move our character based on the input vector. Go back to level scene and press F6 key. Press the moving key you just set to move your character. In my case, I press arrow keys. Nice, our character can move now, but it do not follow the camera direction and do not facing the right angle when moving, so let's fix it. Back to our character scene and click the H node of cam base node. Open transform section and you can see the rotation of the H nodes is mainly in Y axis. Then back to our character script and type this. This will get the current global Y rotation of our H node. And in input direction, we add this to rotate our input direction based on the Y rotation of H node. Now back to level scene and press F6. You can see our character will move to the direction based on the camera angle. Then the next thing is to fix the rotation of our character. We need to rotate our model node in Y-axis based on our input direction. So after the move and slide function, add this. It means whenever our character get input direction, we will rotate our model node to the input direction. We use a left function to make the rotation smooth. And we add an angular acceleration to control the rotation speed. So let's test it by pressing F6. The final step is to play our animations and move by using root motion. Let's create some helper functions for controlling the animation tree. The first function is to set the state of the main state transition node. The second one is to set the state of the moving state transition node. Then we can add this to change our main state based on the input direction value. If we have an input direction, we set to moving. If not, we set to idle. You can go back to our character scene to check the animation tree setting. Idle is the first input, so it is 0, and moving is 1. Let's press F6. Now our character can animate based on the input. Great, but the character looks very clumsy. So the next thing is to apply root motion. Before that, let's add two variables, one for velocity and one for acceleration. Before move and slide, we get the root motion from our animation tree. And we divide the root motion by delta time to get the velocity. We then rotate our velocity based on our model facing angle. And we smooth our character velocity by using a left function. And replace the input direction by velocity. I typed wrong function here and it should be a rotated. Press F6 and see what we got. Nice, our character is moving by root motion. The final thing is to add walk and run. The walk function requires a controller, so please prepare a controller. We click Project, then Project Settings, go to Input Map tab, and inside each move action, add controller in it. Select joy axis, and choose the axis index. Then we add a new action called Action Run and press Add. For the key, I may choose the Shift key for running. Then back to script and we add two variables, one for walk threshold and one for sprint threshold. And we add another variable called isRunning to determine if run button is pressed. Then we split our input direction to another variable called moving direction. And apply the rotation and normalization code in moving direction. We check isRunning by seeing if run button is pressed. Then we replace 0 by the walk threshold to make sure once the input direction passes the threshold, we move our character. Then we see if input direction larger than the sprint threshold. If yes, we set the moving state to sprint. Finally, we see if run button is pressed. If yes, we set moving state to run. We can add X fade time in each transition node to smooth the animation blending. So back to level scenes and press F6. Good, our character can walk, sprint and run now. So that's today's video. Thanks for watching and hope you enjoy. If you have any comment, please comment below, and if you like this video, please share, like and subscribe my channel. Thanks. Finally, if you want to support me on making video games and making Godot tutorials, please support me on Patreon. And thank you my patron for supporting me. See you in next video.